What's going on, everybody? As soon as you get up in here, be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to hit that subscribe button as well. This particular topic, is one of those topics that I normally don't talk about on the platform, but as the platform is growing, I gotta move on from just talking about, viral news and different things like that. So we're gonna jump into, the game. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're just gonna jump into the game. Now, for you guys that are going to be pretty much new to the channel, because I know that this is going to, compel a lot of people that have never seen my channel to want to join the channel because of this particular topic, right? Y'all got to be sure to not only subscribe to the channel, but to become a member. Okay. Uh, I'll put all of the details in the description so that you could become a member. Because if you know anything about the game, I can't just be talking about everything. You know what I mean? For the public to just click and just come listen. So what I'm going to do is, I'm gonna have this as members only. Very very soon. Okay, because I already know what I mean? Like, if you know, man, you know, man. You know what I'm saying? So I shouldn't even have to go all the way too deep into detail. But I just know that the membership is gonna be like maybe $4, bro. Okay, very cheap. You know what I'm saying? If you're in the game or got any type of game about yourself, $4, is pretty much. Come on now, okay. Now, you know, uh, if you see the title, that's what we're gonna be on. Peas. Do you take a 304 back if you get knocked? You know what I'm saying? That question right there is a golden question, right? That's a golden question because a lot of times whenever you get knocked, man, yeah, that should have put your ass, what I mean, in a position that you really don't want to be in mentally, right? Some of y'all have never been knocked, so you really wouldn't understand. But it'll put you in a position, you know what I mean, financially. It'll put you in a, a depressed state. Should you be depressed? Absolutely not. But if we got to keep it real, then we will say that, whenever you lose somebody that you really like, and sometimes that you love, come on, bro. If you ain't got no feelings for that shit, I don't know. I don't know who you is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what you are. You got to be an alien or something, bro. If you ain't got no feelings, you know what I mean. But um, certain situations, bro, it will cause you to be, kind of down, right? Of course, you know what I'm saying? The pimpin' always gotta, replenish himself, you know what I mean? And sometimes, you got other P's that'll help you with that replenishment, but at the same time, man, it's a tough battle to lose somebody that you really care about. Shit, when a bitch leave, you know what I mean, or you done got knocked or something like that, you know what I mean? You damn near like the bitch done died. You know what I'm saying? It's damn near like the bitch died, bro. You know what I mean? And the reason why I say it is because she's gone. You know what I mean? Seriously, she's gone. Um, some of you guys have never been knocked, so you really wouldn't understand that situation. Um, and we'll get into more of it as we break this down. But y'all hit that like button, man. Hit that like button, bro. Um, please, you know what I'm saying? Have you ever been knocked? You know what I'm saying? Have you ever been knocked before? Uh, I'm not gonna lie, bro. When I got in the game, that was just one of the things that I didn't want to happen. You know what I mean? I was like one of them dudes that was like, bro, I didn't want my bitch to get knocked. You know what I'm saying? Who wakes up like, ready to lose the bitch? You know what I'm saying? That was just something that, I didn't want to happen. But at the same time, making deals and, not pimping accordingly and things like that, I didn't want to do that either. Right? I didn't want to like simp to keep the bitch. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to do anything like that. So I knew, that it was going to be a time where, this was going to transpire. I just, I've had certain mentors that had already laced me up, you know what I mean, for certain situations. You know what I mean? But I just didn't think that I would ever get knocked. You know what I mean? And I still haven't been knocked. You know what I mean? Still to this day. I still haven't been knocked, bro, right? Yeah, I still haven't been knocked. We'll get into my story, you know what I'm saying, why there was a situation that has transpired, but, I've never been knocked, you know what I mean, according to the game, no, I haven't, you know, but I've had situations, transpire. Yeah, hit that like button, man. Hit that subscribe button as well, right? Yeah, hit that subscribe button as well. Um, but the question is, Peace, do you take a 304 back if you get knocked? Okay. Now, what I'll say is there's gonna be certain situations where you probably don't want the bitch back. You know what I mean? Some of you guys just let's not even talk about the game for a second. You've been probably in a situation where, you and the girl broke up, and you went and talked to a different female or, had relations with different females. She did too. And later on in life, maybe it was months, but maybe a couple years or a year or whatever, y'all ended up getting back together. Or, you know, you ended up having a conversation with her, what I mean? Y'all came across each other's paths and, you were put in a position on should you take her back or not. A lot of times it may have been your fault. So, when it's the nigga fault, the nigga be like, yeah, he ready to take the bitch back because it was his fault. You know what I mean? But if it was, a female's fault on why y'all may have, went y'all separate ways or whatever the case might be, and then y'all cross paths again and you put in that position, it's a tough decision to make, right? Because a lot of times that female has, either um gotten better or she's gotten worse. You know what I mean? That's just what it is, but we all have to grow. So it wasn't that she was just the same as something changed about her, right? Um, I've been, in a situation where, I wasn't talking to a particular female for, a few years, couple years that went by or whatever the case. Then whenever I got back around the bitch, um, she just really wasn't the same. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. I was actually happy, you know what I mean, like kicking it with her again, being around her again and shit like that. Cause I was going through the motions like, damn, dog, we really is over here kicking it. Like, bitch, you really here type shit. You know what I'm saying? And so I thought everything was gonna be cool, but like the more I was around her, the more, I started to see the changes. You know what I mean? Like you still that bitch, but you're not what I'm looking for anymore. Just a lot that's changed about you, you know? Just a lot that's changed about you. I don't know. This is different, right? And I don't think that I could get with it. You know what I mean? Some females go from being, submissive in certain ways or in all thy ways. But, after y'all hadn't been around each other for so long, you know, s- that shit can change. Bitch start feeling, like real independent and shit. You know what I mean? And she's not really the catering type female no more, or just a lot of things changed about her, right? So I've been around, you know, certain females that I was just kind of like, you know what, yeah, I couldn't even do that again. You know, I could probably pipe her again, right? You know what I'm saying? But as far as like being close with one another, I don't know if I could do that. Been in them situations before. You know what I mean? Been in them situations. I've been in the situations where I just couldn't even go there sexually with the bitch no more. She just wasn't the same no more, bro. You know what I'm saying? To where I was just kind of like not yeah, I wasn't there, man. I just couldn't do it. Like I just didn't want to do it. It was just I just couldn't do it. But you like a friend now. Like seriously. I don't even want to go there with you, right? I've been in them positions before. But now a hoe is much different than just a regular female. You know what I mean? I gotta keep it all the way real. You know, a hoe is she really that. Especially, what I'm saying, an obedient woman, part of the lifestyle. She's yeah, man, she's all of that. You know what I'm saying? So whenever, a hoe leave or she goes on about her business or, you've got knocked or you know what I'm saying, something like that, if this was a good female, good woman, you know what I mean? Yeah, bro, you gonna want her back or whatever the case. But in certain cases, bro, it's not so good, you know what I mean, to take a female back. Sometimes these females be learning different things and, you know what I'm saying, like, they be picking up certain bad habits, you know what I mean, that they got from the last nigga that they was with and shit like that, you know what I mean? They start talking to you crazy, you know what I mean, because this was the way that they was talking to the nigga that they was with and shit like that. You know, you start going through, certain motions with the bitch, you be sitting back like, "Man, I don't wanna deal with this. I'm having to kinda retrain the bitch." You know what I'm saying? You know, because you gotta make sure that she's, good for your liking, right? And sometimes, man, once you done been with a female before and you get her back, you know what I mean, bro, she just be all kinda like, bro, it just be a whole lot, bro, that you be having to do. You know what I mean? You gotta go back and it's just like you gotta go back inside the bitch brain, take out certain shit that, you know what I mean? Like, how did this shit get here? You gotta take all of that shit out, you know what I mean? Just to like, you know, bring the bitch back to reality around this motherfucker. You know what I mean? Sometimes, you might not even want her back, you know? Sometimes you might not even want her back. Some niggas be so quick to take the bitch back, and then whenever they take her back, they end up into a situation. They end up in situations, bro, that they could have easily avoided, but they didn't really, take the bitch back through the interview process. You still got to interview this motherfucker, bro. There's a whole lot of shit about this particular female that has changed. You know what I mean? Yeah, bro. You didn't even know that. She be finessing now. She finesses on another level. She be trying to finesse the men. You know what I mean? That are governing over her or sorry, governing her, presiding over her, right? Yeah, she be trying to sit up there and finesse them, and you know, this bitch, she be done robbed your ass. She be done had you set up. She be hanging around a whole different crowd now. You know what I mean? She got a renegade partner, girlfriend. That's why I call She got a renegade girlfriend. That she be talking to on the low now. Yeah, she got a few of them, man. She got a few renegade homegirls, that be putting shit in her ear and she be listening to and that she be texting now. There'd be a whole lot, bro, that be done change, you know what I'm saying? Whenever you just take a bitch back, after she done went on about her business and things like that. But you gotta be wise, bro. You gotta use wisdom, and discernment when, taking these motherfuckers back in. You know what I'm saying? Because taking a bitch like that back in that you used to be with, bro, it could really cost you your life, bro. 'Cause you gotta be wise. You know what I mean? Some of these females, bro, bitches sit up there and get out of a situation with you and start fucking with a dude that you may have thought was some pimping. Whole time, this nigga's a D boy. You know what I mean? Whole time this nigga, yeah, man, he really sell drugs. He ain't even no pimp. The bitch just, what I mean, was upset and thought she was going to a good situation. Whole time, nigga, she you know, in a situation with a nigga that's not even the pimping. You know what I'm saying? So now, when going through trying to get the bitch back and this and that, you having to go through, you know what I'm saying, like dealing with, a thug right now. You having to deal with this D boy, you know what I mean, that don't want her to leave. But he understand that, uh, she's a 304 or ex 304 because she wasn't doing no harm with him. But you know what I'm saying? Like, but you don't know the type of individual that he is. You know what I'm saying? He's willing to shoot over the bitch. He's willing, you know what I mean, to unalive you, over this particular female, bro. You know? You gotta be wise and even accepting, what I'm saying, these particular females back. I'm not gonna get into how, you take them back and things like that. So now that's something that, I would do if you was a member, right? So be sure to become a member, and we'll talk about that, what I mean, over there, right? So become a member, bro, and you'll be able to get that. Because I know some of y'all like, man, what do I look for? Like, what do I, I can't go all the way into detail, what I'm saying? Do I get what do I take back? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do I know that uh, bro, we could talk on a one-on-one level, or you could sit up there, man, and become a member, right? One of the two. But we don't just take, the bitch back, bro. No, we don't just take the bitch back. You're gonna have to make sure that you really use discernment in taking this particular woman back. And once you sit up there, man, and go through that particular interview process, you might not want her back. What I'm saying, in the interview process, she's going back and forth with you, you know what I mean, trying to argue with you, you know what I mean? Like it's all type of shit that's going on. Y'all can't even reach no type of understanding because, what I mean, she thinks she knows it all and all of that, and she's trying to make sure that it's gonna go the way that she wanted to go and all these different it's a lot, bro. You might not even want her back. You're gonna have to interview this female as if you ain't never known her a day in your life. You gotta, yeah, bro. She's not the same. She's not the same. You know what I mean? It could cost you your freedom by dealing with this bitch this time, right? Seriously. So, you know, do you take, the 304 back if you get knocked? I'm gonna tell you, man, to be wise, you might not want her back. That's just that. Now be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, get in the comment section, man. Let me know, what do you think about this. If you game related, be sure to, subscribe to the channel, and also become a member, bro. And we'll talk, what I'm saying, on the members only content. I'll be going live and it'll be only members that can sit up there and join those particular lives. So if you game related, be sure to subscribe, and not only subscribe, but become a member, bro. I'll talk to y'all later. I'm out.